All right. In this pot, I have one of my new seedlings that has potential to possibly be a named hybrid and registered with the African Violet Society. Um, in the process of registering an African violet with the African Violet Society of America, you need to propagate it through 3 generations to prove that each generation will produce the same flower and leaves that you're looking for in the original. About 3.5 months ago, I took a leaf from this plant and put it down in this pot. It has produced babies in here, so it's time to separate them and give them their own pot. To get them out of the pot, we're going to squish a little bit, get things loosened up, and then we'll gently pull and try to get them out of here. There we go. If you lightly kind of massage the soil, you can get some of the soil. It's actually not technically soil, it's peat moss and perlite mixture. So we got some off. Not a big deal to get it all off. This is that original big leaf that I put down. We're going to try to gently remove that leaf. And then it looks to me like there are more than one plant. You kind of look for the crown, the rosette form, and it looks like there's probably another one in there. And you can kind of see down here at the base, there's a plant started there and another one over here for sure. There might be 3. So we're going to gently pull on one of these leaves. And there we go. It has some roots. This one's got a little damage from fertilizer and just coming out of the soil. It will probably be just fine. Let's see, is there another one in here? Maybe not. Just one nice, really big one, which is great. All right, to get my next generation, I'm going to take a couple leaves off of this one. It won't hurt it. We'll actually encourage it to grow a couple more leaves. So let's see, take off those 2. And we can pot this guy up and we'll actually put down leaves. So I'm going to use this original pot. I wick water, so I have a wick already in there. Make sure when you are putting down leaves or potting up plants that you label the cups right away. And for my leaves, when I'm doing the multiple generations to prove out for naming, I make sure that I put second propagation or third propagation down on there, or first propagation. And then the new baby plants, I will label them by generation. So this one is the first generation, this one is going to be the second generation, and I will put down the date as well. So when you put down a leaf, you want to make sure that you cut it at an angle. Before you do your cutting, you want to make sure to sterilize your cutting device. If it's a knife or an X-Acto blade like this, I use these little alcohol wipes. Sometimes I use Fizan 20. That also will sterilize things for you. You could use bleach water if you wanted to. So just kind of wipe it off and let it dry for just a second. I don't want to pick up the leaf with the alcohol on my fingers. All right, so now you want to cut it at an angle. We can use this pot that I'm going to pot the other plant into. So cut it at about a 45-degree angle. You want to leave 1/2 inch to 1 inch of stem on the leaf. So we'll just kind of cut into it. I find that it actually is a little helpful to cut just kind of straight across then after you do that, so that there's not that really thin end. So put that down in the pot and it's ready to go. Let's see. Here's my other leaf over here. Do the same thing to this leaf, cut it at an angle, and then cut across that bottom part. You cut it at an angle so that there is a nice surface area for the new plants to grow out of. They grow out of, I can do it this big. This is the original leaf, but you want that nice surface area for plants to grow out of. This is where the baby plants will grow out of, and then seed or roots will grow from kind of the bottom area. So that is what it looks like. I'm not going to put this one down, but I could put it back down if I wanted to and see if it will produce more plants. But I will have enough growing with the next generation down too. All right, let's get this new baby plant potted up. We're gonna take a 3-ounce bathroom cup. Any brand works. There's Solo brand, there's some off brands that you can get at Walmart and Target. And I've seen them at other stores as well. The 2-ounce little cup that I have this in works okay as well if you have a semi or a mini. If it's standard, I would definitely go to the 3-ounce first. So we're gonna cut just little slits in the cup. Usually do about 3. My preferred method for drainage is to take a drill bit and drill through a cup. So I'll drill 3 to 5 holes in the bottom. Some people melt holes in the bottom. That works too. In this cup, I have a couple drops of ivory dish soap and then water. And Dawn dish soap works really well too, with some acrylic yarn. The soap is to help the wicking action happen and to remove any chemicals that are on the yarn. Sometimes they put chemical to keep the sizing so the yarn doesn't stretch as much while you're using it. Sometimes they put like anti-mold or antifungal stuff on there, so it's a good idea to get that off of there. And then your yarn is also already wet and ready to go if you wick water. So I like to kind of put it like that in the cup and hold it with my thumb on this side. I'm going to fill the cup about halfway full with my soilless mix. My mix is a mixture of peat moss and perlite. So I'm going to fill it about halfway full here. All right, about halfway full. To prevent bugs and critters, I put a little bit of this systemic in there. It's a granulated systemic, so just a little bit. So about that much, not very much. That'll be just fine. And fill the cup the rest of the way up. All right, it's all the way full now. I have actually started to play around with my soil mix a little bit, so it has some hydrofiber in there as well, but in the past I've always used just peat moss and perlite. All right, we're gonna need a little bit bigger hole, I guess. I wasn't thinking about that. We can push the soil to the sides. Maybe we'll get it all in there. You don't want to pack it too full. You want the mix to stay pretty light, or to stay pretty light and airy. That big clump I didn't want to be in there. You want to make sure that you don't pot deeper than just the bottom of the leaves. If you go too deep, you risk rotting the crown. You also get sometimes fertilizer that shows up, but it'll be kind of orange and crusty in the middle if you go too deep. Just gently press the soil into place, or the soilless mix into place, taking out some of those big clumps. You definitely do not want to pack it too much. They like their mix to be nice and airy. Now I will put a label on here with the name of the plant and the date. I'll also try to wipe it off. I make a mess. Since this is going to be wick watered and I have the wick already there, I will just water a little bit from the top till I kind of see water coming out the bottom a little bit, and then put it right on my wick. If this didn't have a lot of roots, I would put it in a Ziploc baggie for a month or so, or put it under a dome so that the roots could establish before I put it on my wicking reservoir. That is how I propagate and separate babies.